Well, thank you, Mark. Okay, so as I was saying, if you've just rocked up, make sure you give me your details and then I can help you and stay in touch after this. But the idea really is simply to grow your business. Your growth targets will be your own. I don't say you should grow a business 100% in a year, but I tell you it's possible. I also know that if you grow too quickly, it can cause other problems. But realistically, and that's a key word, realistically for you, in your business, in this town, this year, 30% extra is almost a no-brainer if you know which little buttons to tweak. So my question to you is, would 30% or 50% more of what you're doing now be attractive this year? Who would like that? Yeah. Okay. I don't know what you do, it doesn't really matter, because the idea of this, where I'm going to show you, is that these skills are really you. They're not specific to a business that's in B2B or B2C. They're not specific to a business that needs any sort of fancy background or labels or certificates. Because one of the key things, and what I'm always going to talk to you and help you about, is that business isn't B2B or B2C. It's, as a friend of mine, Peter Thompson, says, P2P. It's people to people. And actually, you can go to business school and college and get degrees and certificates. But when you get out there next week and you've got a lead from this room to follow up, if you don't gel as people, you're not going to sell. And so one thing that's key, that's never talked about, is the you element and the energy element. So we're going to come on to that. But when you buy this excellent book, you'll notice that in the first chapter I was at pains to point out selling is a life skill. So you might have a dictionary definition. What is sales? It's the transfer of goods or services for a monetary exchange or something agreed upon. But selling is what you do when you convince your significant other that you should have the upgraded car, or that you needed that handbag, shoes and outfit. Selling is the persuasion you use to get your kids to tidy the bedroom. Okay, that's not a good example because they never do anyway. But selling is a people persuasion process. And if you do it right, it's magic. And if you care enough about people and you've got something that helps them, then in my humble opinion, you have a duty to get better. But I will always underpin this. Sales or selling, in my book, is always underpinned with that morality, that ethic, that fairness. You do not need a world where we've sold people something we don't deliver. We do not need a world where we've sold something where it isn't even an asset that works. We've got corporates all over the world ripping us off, lying to us, selling but then apologising. That's not the world of sales that I stand for. So I frame this right at the beginning because selling your business, your future this year is firstly really nothing magical, it's us, let's add some skills. And secondly, I believe you are a trustworthy person. I think you care. I think you deliver something and honour promises. And if you do, I'll help you all the way. And if you don't, well, good luck. But seriously, we've got to be aligned. So, some quick, simple ideas, and the first one is easy. For many, many years, businesses have struggled to be finding inquiries. And yet, as Brad Burton is a good friend of mine, but he'll tell you, if you've seen Brad, he always says he was aggressively waiting for the telephone to ring. And, you know, I know a lot of small business people start out in business and they're sitting there and they've got the designs right and they've got the product all lined up and they're just like ready. And it's like a shop owner. They open the shop and go, right, come on in, people. Or I've got my website live. Brilliant. Nobody knows your website's there. I don't know where your shop is. I don't know you exist until you get out and meet me. So, you know, as simple as it sounds, it doesn't matter whether you're in a large business or a small business, no one can buy from you if they don't know you. And if they don't know of you, that's task number one. But you don't need a lot of budget to come up here in the car park and meet 200 people. You don't need a lot of budget to go to the Chamber of Commerce or the other networking groups that are around. You don't need a lot of budget to actually just get off your arse, walk around the neighbourhood and knock on a door. Business has got to, in my, again, humble opinion, we've hidden behind technology. I've got a brilliant quote from Einstein, which I was going to put up, but I knew we'd be short of time. But, you know, he talks about, he said he was afraid of a world that was getting into technology because it would breed a bunch of idiots. Einstein said it, not Ben. But, you know, we hide behind technology and sit there on our desk and say, well, I'm not doing very well at the moment. When was the last time you went to talk to someone? Well, I'm doing on Facebook a moment. So I'm going to tell you, first of all, get out more. For my booster clients, I've always given them a sentence. Be known in your industry. Be known in your area. Be known. I can't buy from you unless I know about you. Be known. That means, do I like you? Can I trust you? So I've got to know a bit more about you than just it that you do. Be known in your industry. Don't hide from your competitors. Big it up in front of your competitors. Let them run away with fear. Best thing you can do is go around being bigging up in front of your competitors because you'll nick all the best staff. Be known. So get out more. So I'm going to challenge you, go to more network groups, go to more events where there's people, and when you're in just like a stadium like this, you can go to a football match if that's your passion, but just talk to the guy at the bar when you're in a half-time break. Talk. I'm not sure about the toilet queue, but you can certainly talk to the people next to you in the seats. You don't need to go to a business event to spark up a conversation. I can tell you stories, I'm sure you can tell stories, where you've sat on a plane going on a holiday. You've been waiting at the airport lounge. You've sparked a conversation with someone by the pool. In fact, I'm going to tell you something. Go on holiday more, because you'll make more conversation that will spin round. Join the leisure club. Talk to the other people that are paying £100 a month. It's a good audience. You don't need to worry and struggle because there's people everywhere, but they aren't going to find you. You've got to go and find them. So get out more, number one, and don't hide behind technology. But when you find a contact, when you've got the 100 people here, and you're the other stall holders and the other people that you meet in the group, one thing that consistently, and I mean consistently, I can go to 100 businesses in a month, and over 80, almost 90% of them won't be doing this. Follow up, keep in touch. Yeah, you thought something else, and obviously that's the way your mind works. Follow up, keep in touch. Now you're going to go away from here with 100 business cards, or 30. And you'll say to yourself, right, yeah, I'll follow those up. And they'll go onto your top drawer or your desk, and you've got one or two you've penciled on, but the other 27 you thought, oh, I'll just put them in anyway. And what will happen is then the phone will ring, good, and you get somebody already arranged to meet, good, and you're busy, good. And then next Tuesday happens, and before you've even blinked, it's Wednesday, and they're not followed up yet. And because in conversation today, you probably say, yeah, I'll give you a call, let's get together. Next Wednesday, when it's a bit stale, you think, oh, I can't do that now. So then they get gently shoved. And anyway, you got another event on Thursday. And before you know it, you've got 200 business cards, and then they're in the top drawer because you can't have them all over your desk. I mean, you want to keep tidy, right? So where's your CRM? Where's your habit? Where's your process? That data tonight, and if you haven't got a CRM, brilliant sales radar, recommend them highly, great bunch of guys, brilliant system. If you haven't got a CRM, get theirs today, and then develop a habit of putting your data in and start sequence your follow-up. Magic happens if you follow up, as long as you do it right. So the last thought on this, don't ring up Sandra and say, hi Ben, we saw you, Do you want to buy my HR services then? Your follow-up has to be human. Your follow-up has to be real. You're not just pitching at me. I'm not just a number. I don't want to feel like the banks make me feel. Don't just hit me, talk at me, tell me. I do a lot on LinkedIn. Anybody else on LinkedIn? I connect with probably, I don't know, 300 people a week, find me. And then I say, okay, yeah, I'm open, I'll connect. And then the next message I get from 5% of them is, hi, Ben, so listen, let me just tell you what we do. Will you just... I don't even know you. And the next thing you want to get to bed with me? What's that about? I'm not a tart. So your follow-up has to have some humanity and subtlety to it. But if you've got no process at all, you're never going to get that client. Number one, get out and meet 200 people. Number two, follow them up, else you've wasted your day. So in your follow-up, put some stories, put some humour, put some, I'm not selling, but I value relationships. It was good to meet you at the Business Growth Show. Where else are you going? I'm going here. Come with me. Just make conversation through the system. But have a system. If you haven't got a system, I'm kicking your ass now. Get in there, tell Stephen at Sales Radar, Ben said, I've got to talk to you. Trust me, I've been doing this stuff for a long time. I had hair when I started. And CRMs are the fundamental heart of a business. And I've been on stage talking about them for 10, 12 years. And of all the systems in all the world, that's a very good system. Brilliant for what it does at the money. So get in there now, tell Stephen, I need a better system, because the difference is not having the system, it's having someone to help you guide through the system, and they're very good. But get your data, put it in a system, and follow up and keep in touch. Magic happens from then on. And by the way, if you need any help, what do I write? How do I do that? What would you say? How many months, weeks, days, hours between communication? I'll help you. So will they. Don't sit there thinking, I don't know what to do. Right, so the next thought, and this is just, obvious. So I'm on stage talking to people all the while, and somebody at Manchester, I did a big gig in Manchester recently, and somebody was saying, so okay then Ben, what do you think is the secret? If you have to bring it down to what makes a business grow. So I'm going to ask you that. What do you think is the secret to making a business grow? We can't all shout out different answers, but I often hear the answer that the product has to be good. The product and service has to be brilliant, all right? Because if you don't have a good product, well, you're never going to sell anyone because word goes around.
Reputation.
Well, you have to have a good reputation. Reputation will spin. And yeah, you need a good service reputation.
Customers, processes.
All good. Processes are true. Customers are good. But at what point do you find out if it's a good product or not?
Sales.
After the sale. At what point do you find out if the service is good or not? After the sale. So at what point is sales number one? It's the only thing that feeds you. I walk into a big business and there's 100 staff or 1,000 staff, and there's 200 on the shop floor and 50 in the admin or 27 in accounts, I don't know. But there's 5 in the sales office, feeding the rest. It's the sales that feed your business. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter how big you are. Doesn't matter how long you've been around. Next month's sales pay the bills. Where's your priority? What are you doing today to say, where's my sales focus? Now, I love you and I care. But I'll tell you now, there'll be people in this room that are avoiding that. And they're saying, yes, but I can't do that yet. I've got, that shade of pink is not quite the right colour. I've just got to get the badge right. I haven't quite finished that programme that I was writing and that course that I was completing. And I want to just make sure I've got all the... And I don't, I can't sell yet because I've got that to do. And I tell you now, every day, people avoid the one thing that pays the rent. Now, I get that. But I love you enough to say, come on. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It doesn't have to be selfish or cutthroat. We don't have to sit there bashing them. But we do have to go out and say, would you like to buy this? And we do have to have a little bit of skill that says, okay, you didn't say yes when I first asked you the question, so I'll ask again. In a slightly different way. And there's loads and loads of people in business, and they say, oh, I'm a managing director, or I'm an account manager, I'm a service coordinator, I don't care what bloody label you put on it. If you're dealing with a customer, you're selling. When was the last time you did a sales training course? How good are you at selling? Where's the evidence of that? Where's your increase? I don't know, and I care. But you see, I've been in this game 40 years, and I still go, I have a mentor. I pay to get better. I read books to get better. I'm quite good, but I know I can be better. And so at some point, if you're serious about your business, some of you have got to say, well, okay, how can I improve my sales? Because it's the only thing that pays for your product development. It's the only thing that pays for your website. It's the only thing that pays for the service of the social media. It's the only thing that pays. And you know, the magic is when you start to sell a bit better, you make more money. Firstly, because you make more sales, and secondly, because you make more money on the sales you make. You want 30 to 50% growth? I can walk into any business and make it 20% better without them doing any more work. Who would like 20% minimum better this year without doing any more work?
Yeah.
I guarantee that, absolutely guarantee it, because when I look at what you're doing, you don't add activity, you just refine the process and increase the skill. But to help with that, if you're selling me something that's a dodgy asset or a dubious financial investment plan, or you're selling me something that sounds just a bit too good to be true, then you're going to say, too good to be true, that. You're going to think, where's the trap in this? Where's the risk in this? So you're not alone, by the way. If we were to study the psychology of 100% of the people in this room, and again, another thing I could share lots of information with, but we've all got character traits and psychology patterns, and although we're all entrepreneurial, because in theory we've all started our own business, even amongst us, there'll be the cautious people. And all of us have cautious natures at some point. So when money isn't flowing in, how do you feel about spending it out? Cautious. So the people you're going to see, if they're not uber flowing with cash, they're cautious. But you don't assume that they're cautious. You go bowling in with all the big things you can give them. And then they're in their mind not telling you the truth, but they're saying, God, I've only got a little bit of money, and if I spend it now, then I'm going tits up, so I won't spend it. And you're pushing because you're saying, what's wrong, this is good, this is good. And they're going, yes, but just let me think about it, And you walk away because you haven't got a sale, and you're thinking, why didn't I get that sale? And they're thinking, God, because I couldn't spend that money. And the only thing is fear, because they're saying to themselves, but what if it doesn't work? So where's your guarantee? Where's your risk removal? Where's your promise? If someone was to sell you stuff that didn't work, how would you feel? If someone was to sell something to you and you spent money you didn't really have spare and it didn't work, how would you feel? So why do you expect something different of the people you're going to see next week? And in fact, if you can't guarantee some sort of result, what does your conscience say about selling it to them? Would you like it done to you? So I'm a simple man. I believe in true, timeless principles. Do unto others as you'd have them do to you, or words to that effect. And that's not based on any religion, because that's a whole new story. But it's simple truth. I don't want you to get ripped off, so why should I rip you off? And then you say to me, yes, but Ben, I can't guarantee this because, you know, they don't do that and this doesn't happen, and fine. So guarantee your integrity. Where's your integrity? Where's your guarantee? Where's that process that says, look, I promise you that I won't let you down. You might have to do X and Y, but I promise you if you do X and Y, you'll get Z. And then wherever their Z is, it might be more money, it might be more leads. If you're in marketing, it might be more security if you're in a protection environment. But if you can't promise them something, why should you have their money? So think about that. Because I promise this, your sales will go massively up if you can be honest and take away the risk. And if you struggle with that, like everything else, call me. I'll help you. But if you don't take away the risk, unless you're telling somebody who's just uber cash rich, you're going to have a challenge. Because most people need what goes out to come back. So get out more, meet more people. Follow up. But realise that nothing happens until you make a sale. But sales are going to hold back if there's a risk. But once you've done all of that, and while you're doing all of that, you've got to put the one thing in that's unique. You. So I've been around sales a long time. And there's a sales, what's your USP? Now I'm a bit less than politically correct when it comes to some of the people I see in corporate. So I do a lot in London, and I do meet some, well, I have a specialised term, and it's fluffy bollocks. I see a lot of that stuff, you know, fancy buzzwords all over a glossy page, and there's no substance. It is. But that doesn't mean say we have to do that. That's not the way to make money. But the best thing you can take to the table is you. I could probably find someone else to do your service. I guarantee I'll find. I was at an exhibition in London yesterday with a client and with some other speaker friends. There must have been, and I kid you not, in sort of one small section of the exhibition, there must have been 20 people doing videos and animations and 3Ds and corporate videos and sales videos and everything. And then in another aisle, there must have been 20 doing CRMs and digital mailing and you know, if you're shopping for that, how the flipping heck do you decide between that one and the other 19? Because they're all going to do about the same. Now, what do you sell? And how do I distinguish between you and the other 30? Anyone in the business, anyone in the room got a unique business? Anyone doing something no one else is doing? Whew. Here's the thing. If you ever want to be unique in a marketplace, I'm going to tell you don't. Because if you're unique in a marketplace, there is no market. The best thing you can ever have is competitors. If there's enough business in the town to support 100 people selling insurance, a lot of people are buying insurance. Great! The challenge then is, how do I be the one they choose? And you could sell me an insurance policy, I can get the same from down there. But I didn't like them, they were ignorant. Their service was shocking. They weren't human when I talked to them. They didn't ask me about me, they didn't care. I'm going to go with you because you just felt right. That's how people buy, you know that, don't you? Ladies particularly. But you've all experienced it. There'll be a moment when you just, I don't know, something about them just didn't feel right. And then there's, I just got a good vibe about that. And there's so much more I could share with you, but you know, the essence of transaction is people, and people are human animals based on emotion. We go a long way into that if you want to learn. But you get that emotional connection right, you'll open every door on the planet. Well, there are some doors that are closed, but you know, we'll keep away from them. But most people are human, and most people put feelings in first, and you are the most important thing. Because they've trusted you today, they want you to back them up next week, and it's you that you're selling. Now, if you big you up and put you into the equation, you've transformed the whole mix. If you hide behind the badge, the ingredients of the widget, the performance of the gadget, the reputation of the company, the credibility, all of that's valid, but it's not what I'm buying. You can tell me you've been in business 27 years and you've had corporate clients and actually I don't like you, I don't give a stuff about that. Or you can tell me you're in business for 27 months and you're really keen and you've come from this and this is what you want to do and change the world. I'm going, I love you. It's you. Don't try and be professional. Don't try and do it a certain way. Don't, like, you know, say the right thing, these buzzwords that you see. Just say your way, or better still say it their way. But let you out, please. Oh, we've only got a little bit of time, and I could talk and I'd help you until, you know, very late at night. But this is possibly a subject on its own. And this is where the future of your business really hangs. And if there's one thing that will transform your life, I'll just say that again, transform your life, it's your energy. And I'm not talking how energetic you are. I'm not talking whether you feel wow or, oh God, tired today. Give me 2 cups of coffee before I start at 7:30 in the morning. Who does networking meetings? Who goes to networking meetings and either they're guilty of it, they hear, you know, yeah, coffee machine crowd, talk to me in a minute when it's hit the blood. Energy is what the universe is made of. Vibrational frequencies are what we're made of, what we sense and what we detect. And you've been with someone, haven't you, where they've sort of said one thing and you've felt another. They've looked a certain way but didn't match with the words. It's called congruency. And as an instinctive animal, you record and tune to that. And if you can get your vibrational energy resonating higher, everything changes. And the only way you can do that is if you're doing something you love. So because I love you, if you're in a job or a business that isn't in your heart, get out and follow your heart. Because the strongest energy on this planet, in the human environment, is heart energy. A whole new subject, passion of mine. I want to change the world. I'd love you to be changing the world as well. But let's change your world. And your world is about interaction with people. And that energy, that transfer, that vibrational, oh, I like, is all about the energy you put off. Not how want to run a marathon, it's the energy you exude. It's that oozing. You may not be technically sufficient, but you ooze passion. You may not be politically correct, speak with a cultured tongue, have letters after your name and read loads of books, but you ooze authenticity. I just know you're not going to let me down because it's just look at you. Because you're so in tune with what you do, I can't ignore that. You're so vibrant about you and the mission and the it and the planet and where you're going, and it's just like, wow, you'd do it if you weren't paid for it. Now you're going to get paid for it. Your energy will get you your success if your heart is in your business. And if your heart's in your business but you don't know how to engineer the mechanics, we'll do the mechanics like that. I love you enough to help those mechanics come into place. That's not the battle. We can put hypnotic copywriting. I can teach you the science of language. Certain words are much more resonant in the brain than other words. We can look at the science of colours and match colours and imagery with what you're trying to project. There's a science to this of the way we perceive things. That's mechanics. We can put that mechanics in. But you know, if you've got those mechanics, but your energy, your very essence is not in line, as soon as I invite you in because I like your website, I'll turn off when you're in my room. So let's get you and your energy alignment sorted. They don't give me very long, and I hate that, but I'm here all day, well certainly for the next hour or so. If you want more of me, I'll give you all I've got. If you want to take this a bit further, I'll give you all I've got. If you want to be serious, let's be serious. That's because I care. That's because I say I love you, and I mean that, because you know what you love? children in need, I think, this Friday. Is it sport relief? Well, what's happening this Friday? One of them, isn't it? There's a children relief and a sport relief. And who's going to look at that telly on Friday night and cry? Yeah, come on, stop hiding. By the third time we've seen them, we'll have your credit card out, you've got no spare money, but we're going to pay a fiver anyway, because what's a fiver to me? And it helps them and those poor kids, and because we care. So why can you care on a Friday night and then Monday morning go to work and not care? And what I mean by that is, on a Friday night, watching that, you'll care about the people, and on Monday morning you care about the money. And that's the mismatch and the disease of much of the business in the modern world. And as a race, if we don't retune that so that everything we do is good for people, we ain't got much of a future. But we've got an amazing future. And you've got an awesome future. If Monday morning you show that you care about people that you talk with. If what you do in terms of transaction is caring based, not contract based. If customer service is, I want you to be happy. It's not about what's written there. Don't argue the terms and conditions. Just deliver because you care. Anybody want referrals? Get people to be fans. How do you get fans? You do it genuinely. You care. You give them what they're looking for. But you know, I use the word love, and you know, I do that deliberately because I know what love means. And some people will hear me saying, I love you, and they'll go, oh, he doesn't love me. Or they'll say, that doesn't really mean love. So maybe that's a word you can handle rather than love. But whether it's loving or care, they're the same resonance energy. And if that resonance energy is genuine, it shows and is felt. And when your customers feel it, not only will they buy from you, but they refer you and become raving fans. And you don't need to go to college. You don't need a marketing degree. You don't need to be a certified member of any society to care. So here's my final thought. Put you into your business, and then everywhere you go, you will shine. 30%, 50%, let's go for 100. Because your world would be 100% different the minute you're different. And you don't need to go to school to learn that. You don't need a degree. I don't need to have written 5 books to turn that on. It's just what you know. And yet you went into business and you got somebody that's been in business for too long and doesn't know how the modern world is, teaching you old shit in a way that doesn't work. You don't need a certificate to be you. And if you want 100% growth this year, all we've got to do is tweak us. Start to care, and it'll all come through. Go with that. Thank you.